Welcome to Divine Hand for another soulful, insightful spiritual message. Take what resonate, leave what doesn't. I pre-pulled some cards from my oracle and my tarot for our convenience. With that being said, let's jump right in. So the first oracle card reads, "Fears of loss often hides the fear of intimacy." Okay, and then the second one reads, "The connection tests your self-worth," and then the last one reads, "The lesson is complete. I am free to move forward." Okay. So, what I'm getting from that is that this, with the fear of loss, okay, the fear of loss often hides the fear of intimacy. There's a surface level and there's a deep fear. There's a surface level fear and there's a deep level fear, okay? On the surface, you might think your main fear is losing someone or something important, okay? More important than yourself, okay? And this card suggests you're actually masking a deeper fear, okay? Like a fear of closeness, a fear of being vulnerable, or a fear of emotional intimacy, okay? And some people avoid deep connections because they worry about getting hurt, right? Or maybe it's the potential of a potential loss, okay? The mind justifies keeping the distance when really the root of the issue is anxiety around being emotionally open, okay? So that's for someone here, okay? And then we have the this this connection collective was testing your self-worth, okay? It's highlighting how relationships or connections, whether they're romantic, friendship, or even professional relationships, may be reflecting or challenging your sense of value, okay? And so there's a need to have some self-worth reflection, okay? A connection also always like mirror us, showing where maybe you doubt yourself or maybe you feel insecure, okay? So conflict, misunderstandings, challenges in relationships, or it's less about the person and more about how you perceiving your own value is what I'm getting, okay? And so once you complete these lessons, then the lesson is complete and you're free to move on. You won't, repeat these lessons with people. You'll know how to identify them. Okay, so let's move on to the tarot. So the first card I have is the Three of Cups. And the Three of Cups is about celebration, right? It's friendship, community, emotional support, okay? And this card shows the connections existing around you, okay? But the intimacy, the fear of intimacy may indicate you hesitating to fully engage or celebrate these bonds because of underlying fear or vulnerability, okay? And this is what I'm getting with that, okay? So, um, the next card we have is the Five of Pentacles upright, and this is feeling left out in the cold, okay? And so maybe with the Three of Cups, you're afraid to be vulnerable or be emotionally open with people because you're afraid that they're gonna hurt you and leave you out in the cold, right? Is what I'm getting, right? This is like an insecurity, right? This may reflect how you see yourself. This is like this is testing that self-worth, actually, okay? And are you going to be open? Because if someone do leave you out in the cold, does that reflect how you are? No, it does not. It reflects how they are. It reflects their character, okay, is what I'm getting, okay? And does this situation make you feel isolated or unworthy? No, it shouldn't. If it does, then you need to work, and this is what Spirit is saying, right? Then we have the Three of Wands upright, okay? And this is about expansion, right? This is waiting for results, okay? This is this suggests patience and reflections, right? Reflection. The fear of intimacy may be slowing down your emotional progress is what I'm getting, right? But growth is possible, okay? If you step forward with awareness, and awareness is half the battle. So if you're aware of how you're closed off to people, and the deep rooted issue when it comes to that, then you can overcome that, right? Then you can expand a little bit more, okay? And so then we have the Seven of Pentacles, okay? And this is like patience, assessment, long and term investments. And so once you get that understanding, that reflection, right? um of being able to align with the correct people, right? This is like a mirror of this is a mirror to evaluate relationships carefully, right? So whoever you are aligning yourself with, right, collective, you need to evaluate that carefully. Is this long term, right? Is these people long term, right? Or is this just a spur of the moment, just someone just for whatever feeling you need to feel at that present time, okay? Is what I'm getting. Then we have the Queen of Swords, right? And the Queen of Swords is that clarity, that honesty, being honest with yourself, right? These those boundaries, okay? This is this intellect over emotions, the heart over the head over heart, okay? This is encouraging, cutting through the fears, right? The illusions, the fear of intimacy, right? This is advising to have clear communication and healthy emotional boundaries when it comes to people, when it comes to the seeds that you trying to invest, okay? Your energy is your seeds, okay? Is what I'm getting here. Now we have the seven of swords, okay, and this is about deception, strategy, right? Avoiding confrontation, all right. This could point to self deception or hiding true feelings, okay, which ties to both you avoiding intimacy or doubting your value unconsciously, okay, and this is kind of saying like you're needing to cut through the illusions, right? Not be self-deceptive, okay? When it regarding people that you're trying to build long-term seeds with. Okay, if you're trying to build seeds with people, you need to build them with people that is aligned with you. Is what I'm getting with the Three of Wands. Okay, so you're not in the space of being self-deceptive. You need to cut through the illusions, even if that truth hurts. Okay, is what I'm getting here. Okay. Now we have the Hermit card, and this is about introspection. This is about solitude and inner guidance. Okay, and so this reinforces that reflection is needed, right? Understanding your fears of intimacy or self-worth challenges. Okay, um, this is going to require you to do some inner work, okay? And trust your inner guides, okay? Is what I'm getting with that, right? And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Empress, okay? So, you want to be in this Empress energy, okay? If you are male, if you are masculine, then that's the Emperor energy, okay? So this is like you have been through everything, right? She's loving, she's grounded, she's caring, she has passion, she has compassion, she has she cuts through the illusions, she has that magician, and then she's very spiritual, she just has it all. And then this is what the end goal is, spirit saying. And once you complete all those lessons, you are free to move forward, spirit said, okay? Now, what I'm getting is like this is a journey of self-reflection and growth, okay? There are emotional fears, okay? Challenges in self-worth, okay? The opportunity for clarity and healing is here, okay? This is like fears of intimacy or testing your worth are being highlighted so that you can consciously address them, set the boundaries, and move forward in nurturing healthy connections. With that being said, I'm going to end the read and I'll catch you on the next one.